Welcome to HH28, where we unravel the secrets of self-discovery and matchmaking. We are Hugh and Heather,
two master holistic guides dedicated to helping you navigate the worlds of numerology, astrology, and personality in pursuit of meaningful connections.
Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive with us. You know, we love to get into all the astrological nitty-gritty with you, and today we're diving into the fascinating world of Pisces.
Yeah, we got so many requests from you all about Pisces.
Yeah, Pisces. Water sign, ruled by Neptune.
The deep end of the pool. If you think about water, it's emotions, intuition, all that stuff bubbling below the surface.
Okay, that's vibing with that artist and dreamer thing Pisces are known for.
Exactly. Neptune's all about dreams, illusions.
Yeah.
Not superficial stuff, though. This runs deep for Pisces.
So, like, if you meet a Pisces musician or filmmaker, there's going to be that magical, almost otherworldly vibe.
Totally. But that's sensitivity. Double-edged sword, my friend. It lets them create, empathize, but also easily overwhelmed. Boundaries are their best friend.
Makes you wonder about those best love matches. Cancer, Scorpio, and wait for it, Taurus. How does that work?
It's all about balance. Cancer, another water sign, so they just get each other. Intuitive connection is off the charts. Telepathic almost.
Telepathy, sign me up. But Scorpio, even on like, whoa, intense much. Passionate and transformative, explain that combo because, wow.
So you've got Scorpio bringing that fire, that depth Pisces craves, but not just surface level. Both signs are about digging deep, growing, transforming together. It's intense for sure.
I bet. Okay, but Taurus. Opposites attract, sure, but how can a dreamy Pisces handle someone as grounded as a Taurus?
That's the point. Pisces needs that grounding, that stability. Taurus brings them back down to earth.
Yeah.
And Taurus is drawn to that Pisces creativity, the emotional depth. It's that classic opposites attract, but they actually complement each other really well.
So it's like Pisces needs emotional connection, but someone who can handle it too.
You got it. Makes you think about those LAS compatible signs.
Yeah.
Gemini, Sagittarius, Aries, red flags galore, potentially.
Yeah, those jumped out at me too. Okay, so Gemini, too intellectual for a Pisces, too surface level.
Kind of.
No.
Geminis are all about ideas, communication, which is great, but can feel superficial to someone who thrives on emotional depth.
Ouch. Yeah, recipe for hurt feelings right there. What about Sagittarius then? Too free-spirited even for a Pisces.
Bingo. Sagittarius is all about exploration, independence, which can leave a Pisces feeling, well, abandoned emotionally. Not that it can't work, just takes a very specific understanding.
And Aries, isn't that just way too much fire for our water sign friend?
Imagine a rushing river meeting a still lake. Chaos.
Yeah.
Aries' assertiveness can feel overwhelming to a Pisces. Not exactly a recipe for peaceful coexistence, at least not without some serious effort.
So we've covered romance, but what about friendships and work? Do the same rules apply there? So we've talked about love, but what about friendships? Same vibe, different signs.
Some carry over for sure, but like with anything, there are some twists. Cancer, Capricorn, and Scorpio again, as top contenders for those close Pisces friendships.
Okay, Cancer, always down for an emotional heart-to-heart. But Capricorn, how does that work?
It's that grounding energy, right? Capricorn's practical, dependable, organized, all the things a Pisces who can get swept up in their feels might need to stay balanced.
That tracks. And Scorpio. So they can go from lovers to besties. Is that the vibe?
It's definitely got potential. Shared intensity, deep understanding, but even with compatible signs, communication is key, right? You got to work through stuff.
Always. Communication is everything. Okay, so what about work? Who should a Pisces be teaming up with?
This one surprised me. Taurus is a fantastic match for Pisces in the workplace.
Interesting, because romantically it's like proceed with caution. So maybe the reverse is true with Scorpio. Great for business, not so much for love. That's wild how that works.
Those astrological energies manifest differently in different areas of life, you know?
Yeah.
Makes you think.
Totally. It's not one size fits all. Speaking of not fitting, who are those work colleagues that might clash with our Pisces friends?
Aries, Gemini, and Leo were all flagged as potentially tricky.
Okay, Aries, too much go-getter energy, we get it. But Gemini, I feel like they're pretty adaptable. What's the issue there?
It's that mutable energy, I think. Like Geminis are juggling a million ideas at once, and that can be overwhelming for someone who thrives on focus, on a calmer environment, you know?
So it's a work style clash. Not that Geminis are BAD, just different. And what about Leo then?
Leo's need for attention, for being in the spotlight. It might just overshadow a Pisces in a work setting. And Pisces, they tend to avoid confrontation.
Oh no, so they just suffer in silence. Not good for anyone. We got to talk about those Pisces weaknesses too. We've highlighted the good stuff, but, no sign's perfect.
Totally. Oversensitivity, escapism, and sometimes a bit of indecisiveness. Those are areas where Pisces might struggle.
Which, makes sense, right? Given how deeply they feel everything, how in tune they are with, well, everything.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Their strengths and weaknesses are often two sides of the same coin. They're sensitive, which makes them incredible artists, but also easily hurt. They're intuitive, but can overthink things.
It's about working with those traits, right? Not trying to erase them.
100%. And speaking of escapism, we touched on that earlier. What does that even look like for a Pisces? Is it just reading a book, or is it something more?
Yeah, give us the specifics. What are we talking about here?
It can range from healthy to, well, not so healthy. For some, it's losing themselves in art, music, books, anything to disconnect from the everyday grind. For others, it might be unhealthy coping mechanisms.
So it can become a slippery slope if they're not careful, but it's not a life sentence, right? There are ways to manage that tendency.
Absolutely. It's all about healthy outlets. Remember, Pisces, naturally creative.
Yeah.
Channeling those big feelings into art, music, writing, any form of self-expression. It can be incredibly therapeutic.
And having that support system, right? People they can talk to.
For sure. Open communication is huge. Having those boundaries in place, seeking support when they need it, all crucial for Pisces to thrive.
So it's about finding that balance between their inner world and, the demands of actually existing.
Which, let's be real, is something we all grapple with, regardless of our sign. But understanding these astrological influences, it's like a cheat sheet for navigating life,
Totally. And speaking of cheat sheets, we haven't even touched on Pisces in the business world. What do our sources have to say about that?
Right. Get this, ideal business partners. Taurus, Capricorn, and Scorpio makes another appearance.
Okay, Taurus, Capricorn, I get it. Practicality, ambition, getting things done, all good for business. But Scorpio, intense for the office? No.
Think of it this way. Scorpio's got that strategic mind, the drive, the determination. Combine that with Pisces' creativity and intuition. Powerhouse duo. They're not afraid to take risks, to go after what they want.
So they dream big together, but then they actually make it happen.
Exactly. And they complement each other's strengths so well. Scorpio brings the structure. Pisces brings the innovation. It's a good balance.
Okay, I can see that working. And who should Pisces maybe avoid going into business with?
Aries, Gemini, and Leo popped up again as potential challenges in a business setting.
Aries, we've covered. Too much my way or the highway. But remind us why Gemini isn't a great fit business-wise.
Their energy's all over the place. They're juggling multiple projects, ideas, and that can be really overwhelming for a Pisces who prefers a more focused approach.
So it's a clash of styles again. Makes sense. And Leo, I just imagine a power struggle over who gets the corner office.
The Leo's need for recognition, their natural leadership, might end up overshadowing a Pisces. And because Pisces tend to shy away from conflict.
Okay, here we go again. They'll just bottle it up. Recipe for disaster, honestly.
Exactly. It's crucial for Pisces to find a business partner who respects their strengths. Someone who values their input.
Communication, respect, a shared vision, that's important in any partnership, but especially for a Pisces.
Absolutely. It's about finding that synergy, whether it's love, friendship, business, and astrology can help us understand those dynamics better.
It's like having a little cosmic cheat sheet for life. We've covered so much ground today. Personality, compatibility, strengths, weaknesses.
We've explored how Pisces navigates all kinds of relationships, and I think that theme of balance keeps coming up, wouldn't you say?
100%. But before we wrap up this deep dive into all things Pisces, can we circle back to something we mentioned earlier, their connection to dreams, intuition, spirituality, all that good stuff?
Ah, yes. The mystical side of Pisces. That's where their ruling planet, Neptune, shines through.
Tell us more about that. What is it about Pisces that makes them so tuned in to that spiritual side?
It's in their nature, honestly. Water is receptive, fluid. It flows between worlds, much like Pisces energy. They're empathetic, intuitive, always searching for deeper meaning. It's more than just being into those things, though. It's like they have a direct line to the collective unconscious, sensing the energy that flows through us all.
Okay, getting chills over here.
And their creativity, music, art, writing becomes a channel for those mystical insights.
So that sensitivity, that dreaminess we talked about, it's not just a quirk, it's their superpower.
Exactly. It's about understanding and harnessing that power, finding healthy outlets for those big emotions, using their intuition in a way that's authentic to them.
So if you have a Pisces in your life, embrace their empathy, their creativity, their wisdom, honestly.
And if you are Pisces listening, honor your sensitivity. Nurture that creative spirit. Don't be afraid to dive deep.
Beautifully said. We've covered so much today: love, friendship, work, spirituality.
We really went there.
But before we wrap up this deep dive into the world of Pisces, I want to circle back to something we talked about earlier: their connection to dreams, intuition, spirituality, all that good stuff.
Yes. The mystical side of Pisces. That's where their ruling planet, Neptune, really shines through.
Tell us more about that. What is it about Pisces that makes them so tuned into that spiritual side?
It's in their nature, honestly.
Yeah.
Water is receptive, fluid. It flows between worlds, much like Pisces energy. They're empathetic, intuitive, always searching for deeper meaning.
So it's not surprising that a lot of Pisces are into astrology, tarot, meditation, anything that connects them to something bigger, right?
Spot on. They tap into the collective unconscious, sensing the energy that flows through us all. Their creativity, music, art, writing becomes a channel for those mystical insights.
So that sensitivity, that dreaminess we talked about, it's not just a quirk, it's their superpower.
Exactly. It's about understanding and harnessing that power, finding healthy outlets for those big emotions, using their intuition in a way that's authentic to them.
But there's one aspect of Pisces we haven't explored fully: their unique approach to love and relationships. Because, let's be real, romance is usually a hot topic when discussing compatibility.
Absolutely. And Pisces, being the romantics they are, approach love with a depth of feeling and idealism that's truly captivating.
It's that fairy tale quality, right? They're not just looking for a fling, they want a soulmate, a connection that transcends the everyday.
And that goes back to their ruling planet, Neptune, the planet of dreams, illusions, and unconditional love. Pisces sees the potential for magic in every connection, which can be both a blessing and a curse. On the one hand, it lets them experience love with an intensity and depth that's really special. They give their all, wear their heart on their sleeve, and make their partner feel like the only person in the world.
That sounds incredibly romantic, but what about the downside?
The challenge is balancing that idealism with a healthy dose of reality. They feel so deeply that they can idealize partners, overlook red flags, or stay in relationships longer than they should, clinging to that initial spark.
So it's about finding that balance again, isn't it? Holding on to their romanticism, but also staying grounded and ensuring their needs are met.
Precisely. That's where those compatible signs come in. Cancer, with their shared emotional depth and intuition, creates a safe and nurturing space for a Pisces to open up. Scorpio matches their intensity and passion, forging a bond that's both exhilarating and deeply fulfilling.
And let's not forget Taurus. They provide the stability and security that a Pisces craves. They might not be as outwardly romantic as a Cancer or Scorpio, but their love runs deep, offering a safe haven.
Ultimately, Pisces needs a partner who meets them on their level, understands their sensitivity and need for emotional connection. Someone who can dive deep with them, but also guide them back to the surface when needed.
To someone who can weather the storms and celebrate the sunshine with equal passion.
Love with a Pisces is never boring, that's for sure. It's an adventure, a journey into the heart. And when it's good, it's pure magic.
Now that's the kind of love story we can all get behind. Speaking of stories, we've been so caught up in the world of Pisces that I almost forgot our final thought for our listeners.
Oh, you're right. We always like to leave our listeners with something to ponder, something to connect these insights to their own lives.
So what do you have for us today?
We've talked about Pisces' personality, their compatibility. But what if we took it a step further? Imagine each zodiac sign is a house, a physical representation of their energy. What would a Pisces house be like?
Ooh, I love this. Okay, for a Pisces, I'm picturing something right on the water, maybe even built on stilts, over a lagoon.
With those huge floor-to-ceiling windows reflecting the water's moods. You walk in, and immediately you're surrounded by this soft, ethereal light, like being underwater.
Yes. And inside, it's not minimalist, right? It's this cozy, eclectic, mixed, dreamy fabrics, those ocean tone colors, maybe some vintage instruments scattered around because music just flows through this place.
Stacks of books everywhere, poetry, fantasy novels, well-worn copies and spiritual texts. And it's not just visual. You can smell that salty air, maybe a hint of incense from a hidden meditation nook.
Ooh, there has to be a meditation nook tucked away with those plush cushions, maybe even a small fountain, that gentle trickling sound.
It's a haven, the sensory experience. Things might not always be perfectly in order, maybe a touch too much for some, but you feel that warmth, that empathy. It's a place where vulnerability is embraced.
Their home would be an extension of themselves, always open to friends and loved ones who need a shoulder to cry on, a listening ear. That's SO Pisces.
It's a reminder that with this sign, it's about diving beneath the surface. Their world is about feeling, about deep connection, about embracing the intangible beauty that surrounds us.
This has been such a fascinating deep dive. It's amazing how much astrology can teach us, even beyond those basic sun sign stereotypes.
It's a journey, right?
Yeah.
And whether you're a Pisces, you love a Pisces, or you simply want to understand this complex sign better, there's always more to discover.
Absolutely. For our listeners who want to dive deeper, don't forget to check out the show notes for more resources on Pisces and Western astrology. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep embracing all those, fascinating contradictions that make us who we are.